Welcome to Creation versus Evolution, topic 22, and it is a continuation of man's consciousness. But today I'm going to talk about man's consciousness and epilepsy. Now, epilepsy runs in my family. I was diagnosed with absent seizures, which is a form of epilepsy, a number of years ago. And what that is, it's slightly different than the grand mal seizures where a person is jerking around, rolling around on the floor with no control over their body. Absent seizures, you simply lose time. Sometimes you lose 1 second, 3 seconds, 7, 8 seconds. You lose time. If you just lose 1 second, then no one knows anything has happened. If you lose 3 seconds, other people around you are thinking, what is wrong with you? And I cannot count the number of times through the years when my husband would look at me and say, what is wrong with you? And I would get so frustrated because by the time he actually said that, I was back. The 3 seconds I lost were gone and I was back. And I'm standing there looking at him and he's saying, what is wrong with you? But if you lose 7 or 8 seconds, that's when you start to, cut your finger off because you're using a table saw, which I just about did. But there were twice during these years, once when I was in high school and once when I was in college, when I had grandma seizures, where I was rolling around on the floor, flopping around like a fish. You had to try to hold my body down to keep me still. And the 2 times that happened, I was at home and it terrified my mom. I can remember her holding me down and saying, Rocky, calm down, just breathe deep, take in deep breaths. She didn't know what to do because this was before we knew anything about what was happening. And she did manage to get through to me because I could hear her talking. And I had no control over my body, but yet mentally, I could hear her saying, take deep breaths, calm down. I started trying to take deep breaths, trying to calm myself, and within a few minutes, the episodes ended, which the doctor at that point didn't diagnose me with epilepsy. He simply said I was burning the candle at both ends. It wasn't until years later that I was diagnosed with the absent seizures. There is experimental evidence that electronically stimulating the brains of epilepsy patients can cause them to move their arms, their legs, their heads, their eyes, can talk, or even swallow. When asked, these patients state, I didn't do that. The patients think of themselves as having an existence separate from their bodies. That's how it was with me. I had no control over my body, flopping around the place. But yet mentally, I was there. I realized what was happening. I could hear Mom's voice and was able to pull myself out of it. No matter where the brain is stimulated, it doesn't cause the person to believe something contrary to their current beliefs or to cause them to make decisions. Roger Sperry and his team studied the difference between the right and the left hemispheres of the brain, and they discovered that the mind has causal power independent of the brain activities. My brain had my body flopping. My causal mind was thinking, breathe deep, calm down, breathe deep. Other studies have shown a delay between the time an electrical shock is applied to the skin and when the person thinks it's applied. In fact, the data from multiple research projects are so remarkable that many scientists, unbelieving scientists included in this, have concluded the existence of an immaterial mind, which is unexplainable in the Darwinian mindset. I want to reread Michael Rous's statement, the Darwinian philosopher. Why should a bunch of atoms have thinking ability? Why should I, even as I write now, be able to reflect on what I am doing. And why should you, even as you read now, be able to ponder my points, agreeing or disagreeing, with pleasure or pain, deciding to refute me or deciding that I am just not worth the effort. No one, certainly not the Darwinian as such, seems to have any answer to this. The point is, there is no scientific answer. Well, if you believe that in the beginning God created, then you do have an answer for the separation of man's consciousness and his brain. Thank you for joining me today.